Oh, come on in. I should have told you to share it too.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I'm finna share it now. Let people know you in. Hold on. Come on in, Saints. All right, I just y'all come on in the building. Good evening, Julia. You can see the comments too, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
just in case
Yeah.
somebody want to talk to us.
Yes, sir.
Y'all come in. Jaleel, first I'm gonna start by introducing you and letting you, kind of let people know. So y'all, we got a special guest in the building, as y'all can see. There's no formalities. We ain't got no programs in there. But we got Jaleel Brown with us. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Tell the people a little bit about who you are.
Just real quick. I'm a musician actually. First,
Yeah.
I've been playing drums since I was about 3. It started in
Mm.
the church. Running back and forth with my parents on the weekends, going to different churches, filling in first and third, second and fourth. Drums and piano.
Yeah.
And so I did that for a while. Ended up going to Virginia State University to do marching band, but realized I really had more of an interest in the choir because they had like the full band setup. So there was a great drummer by the name of Chico Wiley, who was the drummer. He was older. He wasn't a student, but he was staff for the choir.
Hmm.
And man, I sit under him for like 4 years, just being an equipment manager, learning music, learning how to work with the band, preparing things of that nature. So I did that for like 3 or 4 years, filled in a couple times when he wasn't there. Graduated from Virginia State with my degree in business administration. The week after I graduated, I toured for audition for Genuine as the
Okay.
drummer. So I did that gig for 4 years
Let's
as the
go.
drummer. Then on the weekends, we weren't traveling. I was back at home playing for my church. In that time, got kind of into graphics, stage production, kind of understanding how writers work, how advances work, understanding how we were moving on these shows, what made sense, what didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I spent some time trying to just learn the music industry, not just
Hmm.
Quartet, but just how the music industry functioned overall. Because I had a couple artists back at home that I was working with. Um, Came off the road from doing that, kind of got into graphics a little bit. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. So like, you can do sound a little bit, can do backline, can do graphics, understand music industry. How can I start putting all this together? So I started working with different promoters, working with different artists. I have a group, Faithful Connection, that's out of Fredericksburg. And we're one of those groups that I think we're a professional group, but we choose to sing locally and regionally, and we're cool with that. My lead singer is a pastor. I have 3 ministers of music in my group. I have 2 MDs in my group, and we're cool with a go Saturday or go Sunday. Like we don't have to sing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Monday. We don't have to do all that. We don't have to do that. But it works for us. We set our prices where we're comfortable. We have music out. We've been nominated for various awards, Rhythm of Gospel, Stellar. Now, like we're cool where we are. But
Yeah.
I also have another group, Burkhead Library, that I manage. But I'm also on the management team for Loving Sisters,
Okay.
Joy Quartet, and New Vision,
Let's
which
go.
those are groups that uh, want to travel. So the things that I have learned about understanding pricing and moving and booking and getting them at churches on Sunday morning, it's easier to do with those groups because I understand what the long term goals are.
Goals are
And,
yes.
and so all those things that I've been able to experience, filling in for groups on the road, helping out different artists with different little things, whether it's EPKs, whether it's A&R, whether it's marketing and promotion, whether it's stage managing, whether it's event planning, whether it's liaison between artists and venues. Because a lot of times promoters know, like, they want to have an event, but they can't explain to the venues what type of electrical, what type of time is needed to make sure the sound gets there, make sure the decorations or props, or they don't understand those parts. So I've been the go between for several promoters in those spaces, and not just gospel. So I've been hired to go do Southern Soul shows. I've been hired to go do R&B shows. I've been hired to do rap shows. But just shows like being diverse in the industry overall kind of makes you a selling point to share with different audiences the different skills and knowledge. And I think I'll end here. Probably the biggest artist that I work with is Pastor John P. Key on his executive team as A&R. So all the flyers you've seen for the rehearsal that just happened last weekend, we've been in the woodshed, at nighttime trying to put flyers together and VIP conference and helping him and our Sheila with tours and dates and hosting auditions and reaching out to venues and so to see Pastor Key work ethic, I tell every artist, any artist that hits me up, I'm an open book. But I tell everybody, I will never work harder than the artist because I'm not out there. So I'm in the back. I'm behind the scenes. I don't mind helping. I don't mind giving any information that I have, but I'm just not willing to work harder than the name of the person that's on the group. And so watching him has really shifted my mindset about how artistry works because I've seen it in action.
Which is a good point because, Jaleel, I don't think, and I'm gonna get to the post that I posted. I posted 2 posts today that we're gonna unpack. So this is a perfect place. I don't think artists understand how hard they have to work in today's time.
Yeah.
There ain't no machine that's gonna save you. There ain't no promoter that's gonna save you. It's like all of the help that you're going to get in 2025 and beyond are branches on your work ethic tree.
Correct. Right.
And I hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just go straight to it, bro.
Right.
And then you let me know what you think about it.
Okay.
All right. All right. So hold on. All right. So this is the post I put. I said Quartet groups. The day of gatekeepers is over. Promoters will not advance your career. Your success is 100% your responsibility. Good music, good content, consistency, and a brand that people connect to. If you don't have those things, building a career is going to be frustrating. Show turnouts aren't going to get better until the artists build a following and a demand. People don't show up just for music anymore. We live in an era where if they don't connect with your brand, people aren't showing up. Put in the work to serve and you'll see things change.
He said a lot.
So should we break it down into pieces?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to.
All right, let's break it down into pieces. The first piece, the day of gatekeepers is over. Promoters will not advance your career. Your success is 100% your responsibility. So what are your thoughts on gatekeepers?
I do agree. I don't think they exist like they used to because the information is so readily available. So back in the day, like the younger groups were looking to the older groups, but as the ones that were younger are a little older, but we're not quite old. Like we realized, like they honestly didn't know that much. You know what I'm saying? It's not a disrespect thing. It's a wow. They just didn't know because I think it was like 4 of us on the call last night for a long time. We were talking about like, labels want to win for labels, so they're not going to be in the artist's favor.
Nope.
So if you're looking to have some sort of leverage, then you gotta have something that they want that they can't give you. So it's not an equal transaction, and that's where I feel like that's where we, especially in Quartet, have kind of failed because we don't understand our leveraging power. So then when we go to the table, we're asking for something, and now you're like, nah, I don't like how this looks, or them percentages too high. But we don't have nothing to counter because we don't understand our artistry. And so I think oftentimes, when we look at gatekeepers and how AI is advancing and technology and all of these different tools and resources and classes and seminars that are not gospel based. I studied with Mr. Henry Harris. Um, he's out of DC with the Excellence in Music Academy. But I also studied with Artist U, which is the clip I sent
Mm-hmm.
you, that takes you on a whole nother direction to be like, this is way bigger than a couple programs on the weekend. When you want to really start touring and you look at a manager versus a touring manager versus a road manager versus a production manager, like all these people are, so we see all these tours and we want to be where these people are, but we don't have the budget, nor the finances, nor the investments to get on these bigger platforms to move like some of the artists that we think have it easy. But it still ain't easy because you still got to know
Mm-hmm.
how to move with people, make sure budgets, what's your contingency plans? What happens if the promoter don't got the money? Nobody should go home without anything, but do we have extra funds coming in to help get that? Is our merch straight? And merch don't got to be difficult. What the local group that I'm in, I say local, like we thrive off that stuff, bro. I'm telling you what I know. We ordered polos. I ordered two. We had two. Then where can we get them at? So the next event, I ordered polos. Next event, I brought coffee mugs. Next event, I brought laptop, mouse pad.
Let's
Just
go.
love your brand, bro. Like, so to the point we went from t-shirts to polos to hoodies to fleece pullovers, and we never kept merchandise for more than 1 week.
Yeah, that's
Because
good.
people wanted to get what we were offering because it made them feel like they were connected. So then what happens? They're sending us pictures in the grocery store with our shirts on, and now people are like, "Who's
Yeah.
that?" Oh, that's the group I like, the Quartet. Check them out. And so I'm like, so
Yes.
the method doesn't have to change. We just have to be willing to have funds to invest in some of these ways to continuously make money other than the CD. I know y'all be laughing sometimes, but my church specifically, they love CDs, yo. They love CD, like literally, they love CDs. Every artist that come, they're like, "Can you please sell some to the bookstore?" We have a bookstore at our church. Like, can you sell them there? Because I don't got it this week, but and so I always tell artists, I was like, if you had the right connections, your CDs don't have to be that expensive. Like, but they can still have the
Mm.
metadata, they can still be encoded correctly, they can still have the artwork, but they don't have to be expensive. So if you get to a label, they want whatever they want off the top. If you just know how to get them produced yourself, and it only costs you $1.10 for the
Yeah,
CD,
that's
you selling
real.
it for 10, you
Yeah,
got
that's a
90.
nice profit.
It's little stuff like that sometimes I think we've just seen it happen so negatively for so long that it's kind of hard to believe that it can be done right and it can be done integrally without having to rob Peter to pay Paul to make it in the industry wherever you want to go, like wherever you want to go. So um, that's my answer to the first part.
Yeah.
Yes, I do think the walls to get are down.
All right. So the second part I said promoters. Well, the second part of the first part. Promoters will not advance your career. Your success is 100% your responsibility.
I agree. I argued that point last night to my industry friends. We was arguing, and they was like, nah, label this. I said, yeah, listen, I don't care how you slice this. They're not gonna do the work for you. They're not.
No.
They're not gonna do the work for you. So, um, yeah, and we was going back and forth for so long, and I was like, bro,
So what was their point? What were they trying to argue?
one of them wanted to go with the label to help their artists get out there, and I
Okay.
respect that, but he did not like the terms
Mm-hmm.
that the label presented. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, but what do you have to offer?
You don't have the leverage to negotiate the
Right.
terms, Jaleel.
Right.
You don't have. People got to understand. It's like
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, the labels are not. The labels aren't looking at your talent to determine the terms.
Correct. Correct.
They're looking at, okay, how are we gonna make this money back?
Right.
And if they ain't moving, much, but they got a little local following, we'll sign them, but we gotta own everything.
Right. Yep.
They gonna take everything.
Yeah.
They gonna take everything.
And I don't really think when you say like promoters advancing your career, I never really looked at it like that. Because in my mind, it's like if I'm only seeing them once or twice a year, that don't help the other 50 weeks that I need to work. Like, and there's not enough promoters that would make me the headliner every week to then put me, to put me on that level, right? So then when you look at artists like with Doc, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
when Doc had to take a little break from the road, were the promoters like, okay, that's still the group, or did they be like, hey, now we gonna wait till Doc come back? So what
Yeah.
happens when you get, or like with Pop Spencer passing, like when the transition between lead singers happened, like it's sort of hard to know if people will still give you the same respect when
Mm-hmm.
Percy died, and then you had Sonny and Eddie, and just trying to make sure the group still function. Like taking that time to rebuild or to maintain a flow, I would never be able to depend on a promoter to advance my career, knowing that this only gonna happen once, but I don't have enough to get to every state all the time. There's not enough of
Yeah.
them quality ones that will have a budget like a Jose Fox or a Paul Dorsey or a Jimmy Spivey. Like there's not 50 to 100 of those
Of
that
those,
we
that's
know we can
good.
get to every single weekend to make 50 weeks happen. So then you have to build those relationships with groups and churches and or up and coming promoters, but that may not have that budget to sustain. Or you get promoters that be like, hey, I want to make sure everybody get a little something. The old school ones gonna say, yo, all the money going to Doc. But the newer ones gonna say, how about we just give everybody $500? No, bro, that's not how this works. So just kind of understanding like that even the level of promotions have changed. You know, um, I've never been to some of those big shows at the Civic Center in, South Carolina or Georgia. I've never been to some of those, but from the pictures, I'm like, man, those days look great. I'm just not sure what we would be able to do to get back to those, knowing that that was like that annual thing, like that was the thing, the Rocky Mount Stadium, the baseball, Willis Pittman and the Volunteers and Slim, like them. I've never been to those, but from watching the YouTube clips, I'm like, yo, these people love those artists. But some of the things we can look at, they came in tour buses, so we wasn't looking to see if they was going to come. We knew the artist was here when the bus pulled up. Now all of us driving, some in the van, some in a rental car, some caught a ride with another group that was coming from that direct. Like we don't even carry ourselves as the level of groups that the old groups used to carry themselves as. So when we saw the bus pull up with Doc Face, we knew the highlights was here. You know what I'm saying? When we saw the keynotes bus pull up or the McDonald's, like that group is in town. It's like the anticipation was there before you got in the building because the buses was lined up. Now we, trying to do 2 and 3 gigs in a night. We're gonna jump from this city to that city. It's hard to even know if the groups are gonna show up. And I think it just changes the anticipation level from the ticket buyers. So being somebody who's been on both sides, like my group has had anniversaries and we've brought groups in the area, we've brought groups from out of state, and we've even brought John P. Key. So I get it from different levels of what artists are expecting to get taken care of wise. But I've also been on the other side where I've been to concerts and I've been highly disappointed because the groups that was promised didn't come. So then when we look at the trajectory of the genre of Quartet collectively, like we got to take some of the ownership of that because we have let people down consistently. And I may not have did in North Carolina, but it's going to resemble in Virginia. Some of that residue is going to sprinkle up to Jersey. Some of that's going to hit South Carolina because we're just not sure if groups have the same level of integrity as they had at one time for those who had no other options. We didn't have a lot of minister of musics running in quartet groups in the 80s. This was their livelihood. Now we have guys who are making, $800,000-$900,000 on a Sunday to play keys. I don't think they had those issues back then. And so trying to maintain the quality of the genre, but also making sure that groups are moving integrally. I think those are why we're finding these issues where we can't find a strong balance to get back to where we were at one time, if that makes sense.
Absolutely makes sense, bro. And the crazy thing is, a lot of those a lot of those shows, and I told this story before, but a lot of those shows that you mentioned, like the Georgias and the South Carolinas and the different things, the big annual shows, there were times where even with crowds there, the finances weren't always solid, and I didn't understand it. Like my homie Jason, rest in peace, he told me one time, man, we were on a show. We did like a Saturday show and a Sunday show. The Saturday show, it was just us and a few groups in the area at a small church, and I was like, man, this is whack, cause I want to be where the people at. I want to be where the homies at. And he was like, man, today, this is what you want. He was like, tomorrow, he pulled out that flyer. He said, you see all these groups? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm hyped, right, Julie? I'm hyped. He talking about somebody ain't gonna get paid,
right?
And I'm like, man, what? And I'm just like, I ain't trying to hear what he talking about, to be honest, because I'm young. I'm trying to turn up with the homies. It's a big show. To be show. Dead right. So we're at a point now, like, I keep preaching it. It's like, the packages ain't working.
Yeah.
It's like if groups don't put in the work to build their own fan bases, these live shows ain't gonna have good turnouts.
So I I feel like I live in so I'm in the DMV, right?
Okay.
I see a couple of people that's on the DMV from like up this area. And so I think it's 50-50. I think it's half the groups. I think it's half the cities though.
Okay.
For instance, like in the Carolinas, you can run 3 or 4 shows in the weekend and they all do decent. Like everybody will get paid, whatever. But every city can't do that. So if you're trying to bring what you see in the Carolinas that are like, yo, we can bring, you know, you can be in, and I'm hypothetically saying this. Let's say you got a group that's over in Rocky Mount doing something. You got a nice size show over in Fayetteville, and then maybe you got something over in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. You probably can run all of those and be cool. But you get to a smaller area, like you trying to run one in Alexandria, DC, and Temple Hills, we 20 minutes apart. And so where you got like an hour and some change, I'm saying like some of these artists can draw and be in the same state, but not necessarily the same vicinity. But there's other places we don't have a big enough crowd of people that like the genre to have multiple shows at one time. But I think we see stuff in other cities and be like, oh,
and we just try to duplicate it without looking at.
Correct.
So
the groups are saving some of these cities because, like in the DMV, you got like Lauren Hillian's on here. Mm-hmm. I've seen her anniversary with the Singing Angels.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else did anything on that day. I see Angela Smith. Nobody else did High Praise Day. Like, so the groups were saving some of these days, not the promoters. These were the
that's good
anniversaries that we knew. Such and such Sunday go to the Heavenly Son. Such and such Sunday go to Faithful Connection. Like, you were banking on the groups to bring them, and that's the difference. Where like it ain't always the promoters, and then you have to rely on whatever the group relationship is. I bring you, you bring me, but we can get out of state and we can get into new markets like that way, not just banking on looking on every promoter in the city to bring new talent. And so I think that's where maybe the relationships have changed, that the artists and the promoters haven't worked together as close. The promoters are struggling, but they have the dollars, and the groups may not have the relationship, but they have the date. Maybe we need to get together a little bit more intentionally and put those together.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I think it's new ways to look at this, new partnerships that can be formed. As people look at trying to get this level of Quartet back up to where it was.
Bro, you just dropped a heavy jewel because I've seen groups like, hey man, I'm gonna come to your city, you come to mine. I've seen that happen, but I think where the frustration comes in for artists is they show up to each other's cities off the strength of just saying yes to each other with no groundwork.
Right.
I think when I'm paying attention, I'm like, y'all, there's no groundwork to create anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what from your experience, what would your advice be to groups when it comes to different markets that they maybe want to tap into but don't know how effectively?
Be realistic. If I haven't been somewhere but I want to get there because I know I can do well, I trust myself. I just need an opportunity. You can't ask for what you asking for if they called you to come. Because it's like we got the supply and demand mixed up. You can't charge me a demand price and there's no supply requesting you to be here. You can't charge me those prices. So it's like, be mindful and then work backwards. I was arguing with one of my groups the other day. I said, listen, there is no way y'all should took them 2 dates back to back. It was way too far. And I said, I can't even get you at a Sunday morning service because you gotta sleep. Like literally you would drive there, have to shower somewhere, go to church, go do the show, drive back home. Like that's not even safe. So I was like, yo, we gotta be if it was a good opportunity to get into that city, great. But let's be realistic on how we can help you offset those costs. Because we don't even have enough time to stop midway and do a Sunday morning and then make it the rest of the day. And so it's some of those things and learning how to make it work for everybody, like everybody collectively. But I think another thing that we could probably consider is that why are we going? I ask groups all the time. Nobody can give me the why. They just took it because somebody called. And I'm looking at like, have y'all strategically looked at your calendar? Did you realize you in that same area 3 times over the next 7-8 weeks? So then we'll blame it on the promoter on the back end and be like, but we keep coming over and over and over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it. Like, I get we want to get booked, but also I'm like, hey, it may be our fault. Like it may be part of us accepting too many in the same area. So now people are like, they'll be here. Well, I'll catch them the next time, or I'll catch them the next time, or I'll catch them the next time. And so the drive to hear your group gets low. It's just not fun and exciting no more. So now we're working twice as hard trying to get our brand up and awareness of our artistry to a certain level, but we're working backwards because we just keep going to the same places over and over and over and over and over again. And then we're not consistent either.
Explain that. Unpack that.
I mean, some of us go with a different group every time. So I mean, it is. So we're not sure what group we're gonna get, and so we're not even sure we should come because we're not sure what group is gonna show up that day.
Yo, Jaleel, and what's crazy is like, number one, the first thing you said is, what did you say that was important to me? I forgot, but it's so the groups, I really want to make sure I'm saying it because it's important. You said be realistic. Mm-hmm. Be realistic and don't overcharge, basically, right?
Right.
And here's the thing about that. Number one, you're absolutely right. But Jaleel, I think the problem that needs a solution is if you create other streams of income,
right,
you can go do that show for less and still make sure everybody get paid.
Correct.
So when it's time to do something for exposure in a new city that you don't have a demand in, if that gig is the only way y'all can get paid that weekend, right, you charging thinking I gotta pay my band, I gotta make sure my singer's straight. So from the perspective of them needing to get paid, the number makes sense.
Right.
But based on your lack of demand, the money, the amount don't make sense. So the solution to that problem is other streams of income.
So that's where twofold. This is where having a label helps because they will help you form a team. So
Mm-hmm.
you won't be spending all your money on overhead every weekend. There's some funds set aside, but usually having some sort of management team or label, for instance, some of these events that are like you do for the radio stations aren't always compensated, but they have amazing turnouts. There's amazing sponsorship, connection, partnership opportunities. And so if there's no money there, but your guys still need to get taken care of, or you have to get fill-ins to help you cover those expenses for non-group members, then like where's that money at? But again, if we started setting something to the side, or when we was charging, we weren't paying everything out to the group. We had some money set aside. We could do these shows and be like, hey y'all, this is where we're trying to get to, and this is a key step to help us get in there. The other thing, you the first person I'm ever gonna say this live to, and people may not agree with me, but I'm confident in what I'm about to say. I'm very confident. I feel like if we really want to know who's drawing, who's popular, who got a following, that when you give your ticket stub, there should be a little note at the door, a little survey that says, what are the top 2 artists you here to see? Let's start keeping some tallies. Let's tally up at the thing, see who they came to see, because it may be the local groups is drawing more than the headliners. But we can't say who they're here to see because everybody got their phone out, everybody sharing, everybody up and clapping because the drive got good. And then when the headliner get up there, it's only 10 people left because we've been there for 6 hours. Everybody tired and there was no chicken. So I really want us to like honestly take a second and really feel like, yo, who are people coming to see? Like it's nothing wrong with asking. There's nothing wrong with a customer experience survey. I do that for work all the time.
You need that data. Matter of fact, she said, so as promoters, how can they gauge the groups draw? Oh, how can they gauge what groups draw where? Do people have the data to know what areas groups draw in? The answer is no, they don't have the data.
Yeah.
That's the clear answer.
Correct, because we don't use the data because we're not on tools like there's a 2 or 3 band apps that'll track where you're going. It'll show you how many fans you got there. These are free platforms. It just takes a little education, a little creating an account, but it literally shows you the fan bases in the city you're on or the city you're headed to. I was telling one of my artists the other day, they were talking about tapping into not festivals, but more like city rivalry vibes. BB King's House of Blues.
Yes,
And so I was talking to
yes.
them. We used let me say this, in my musician fill-in times where I filled in for the Soul Messengers, Maurice Yancey, Swanee's, Bree Holly,
Let's
Jordan, whatever.
go. Let's go.
And one of the times Soul Messengers called me, we flew down to New Orleans and did House of Blues. Amazing opportunity. It was a Sunday morning, and they treated us when I tell you amazing, yo. And we maybe had to do an hour set, Sunday brunch, and I mean they had Bourbon Street, all you could eat. I mean it was amazing. And what I'm saying is like those opportunities propelled them into into new spaces. So now
Yeah.
they doing the Universal Soul Circus. They doing this, singing at mega churches. And so I often tell people like sometimes it's those 1 or 2 investments that'll
Mm-hmm.
really help set your group up for long-term success. But it just takes the commitment of the group collectively to say, yo, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to make this thing happen. And so yeah, that House of Blues was the House of Blues was super dope. That was super dope.
And I think it's. I'm telling people to share this live. Hold on,
Yeah.
y'all share it, yo, because this is good. People need to hear this. It's super
I mean,
super
well,
important.
I mean, while you sharing that, I just see 2 names pop up, and I work with them personally. Reggie
Reggie, that's my
and
dog.
Thomas Alexander. He's the guy behind the Virginia Airs, and
Yeah.
and a lot of the connections that I got from the Stellar Awards was
Uh
from
huh.
Thomas. He was like, yo, just come meet me, call you when you get here. I would
Mm-hmm.
call him. Virginia Airs was on tour already in Vegas. Everybody else trying to just get connected to the Stellar events. He had churches. Hey, this the address. We over here. Like, I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. We left there, went to another event that was in like a lounge or something. I was like, the Virginia is about to sing here. He's like, nah, we just got like a guest appearance. You know what I'm saying? So just to know like the levels, everything ain't a performance. Sometimes
Hey,
with your
yo.
face in the building, they'll pay you to be in the building. But I've also sit on the flip side of this when I was filling in with Maurice Yancey and we went to go do Marvin Winans Church on Mother's Day. But they were already going up there to do a Mother's Day concert that night. So just going to Marvin Winans Church that morning made sense. It worked out well. They got called back for a conference. He did Marvin Winans conference 2 nights in a row. So he was out there for 4 days. Then turn around, we go do Donnie McClurkin's Wednesday night prayer service. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the one door opened to another door, and getting into that network of churches open door to be like, yo, I got to get these boys at my church. So even though we went for Winans, all of his other ministry peers and organizational people was like, yo, them boys is tight. Like, they came, they was on time, dressed to the par. Like, whatever they wanted us to do, did the sound checks. They didn't have to worry about where we were. They fed us afterwards. So just sitting in these different rooms while helping other groups on the road just shows you a whole nother level of some of the things that a lot of these artists will never experience.
Absolutely.
Never, ever experience.
Absolutely. So, and I think to your point, I think groups should kind of sit down and map out what's possible and what they want to see happen. Because like you said, like with the group that you're a part of, like being around the house is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So for some groups, if I can buy a bologna sandwich and bust a house, that's all I need.
Yeah.
And if that's you, that's cool. But if you like, okay, I want a sustainable career with the goal to make this full time, and I want to be able to make sure that my business is so tight that all of my guys or girls are taken care of on a consistent basis and they can earn a livable wage.
Right.
You have to think beyond the gig if you want to build a business that can sustain all of the group members and the band members. You have to. So different venues, different opportunities, relationships outside of the normal quartet bubble, all of that is necessary. Merch, looking for venues that ain't a hot church.
Yeah.
That's all important.
Facts.
That's all important. So we have to like, what you doing it for? What's the point? What's your aim? And then who you singing to? Because everybody audience ain't the same. That's another thing that I don't think we are intentional about. Like, two groups can be from the same city and serve and sing the same genre, so to speak, and are called to serve two different sets of people. Do you know who your people are? Do you know the age of these people?
Yep.
Is it more men or more women?
Right.
Do you know what region they live in? Okay. So Reggie said, honestly, no one has the mindset in Quartet right now. Mickens, them are definitely on it though.
But they have an engine behind them. You just talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
Like, again, if you get a group that's willing to invest or have somebody that'll work a partnership, you can do that. But most groups want 100% control of everything. So it's like you can't have both. You can't have the control and want the next level perks that come with partnership.
Absolutely. And you have to, the thing is, groups have to be able to let their guards down and trust people. Because people know more than you know. Like, if all you know how to do is show up and sing, just show up and sing. And put somebody in place that can put you in new places to sing.
Right.
Okay, so now my wife said there are actually a lot of people who have the mind, but they're either afraid of what is to come. Oh, she might have missed something. Oh, but they're either afraid of what it comes with.
So understand, like, if you want a
Teams.
management company that can build you a team, that's one thing. But if you need a label to help you get your project out, then that's another journey. If you need a, a publicist that needs to just get your brand, that's another thing. So I don't think there's one size that fits all for every group. Because if you ask me, the only thing I would hire is a publicist. I wouldn't hire a manager because I feel like I can do that. But I also wouldn't get with a label because I'm not interested in having to do the legwork to travel across the country to get my music out and go to these radio stations. So
Yeah.
like understanding what your objective is will help you. I think somebody like the Mickens who've been out there for a long time as the highway travelers, like you said, they rebranded. Yo, we need to let everybody know that the Mickens are the new thing. Like
Yeah.
this new thing, we got to get behind this. So it works for them to fly across the country and do Cali and New Jersey and something like it, that works for them because they're reestablishing a brand that for
Yes.
years we knew as the dad and the rest of the family. Now
Yep.
it's not necessarily like that, but it doesn't take away what the highway travelers did. It just enhances that this is the Mickens. A new style, a new look, a new photo vibe, a more urban look versus the suited up. But there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying for them, you can see where they've put in the work, and even the sound is evolving. It still has that South Carolina sound, but this is a polished, produced sound that they've got. But you can tell everybody is in. Even little stuff that people won't notice, like how they position themselves on stage. Little stuff that people don't. It don't matter. Yes, it do because
It,
they do it every time they go out. Like so, you'll see Allen and the Legends, the same thing. Like when you look at their tour schedule, you be like, yo, they are killing this. Like but you can see the work they're putting in and the consistency they bring to the table. And so I think some of us groups suffer because we're not consistent.
mm-hmm.
Others of us that just keep running into bad promoters and lack of situations.
Yeah, and that's so that I'm at the point now where like, so, and you tell me what you think about this. Oh, that leads me to my other house. Hold on, let me just pull it up because what your response to it was good. So I said, free game for promoters. Packages are drawing less and less by the day. Here are the two biggest reasons why. The first reason, there is very little promotion in the spaces and places that the majority of people exist. Young people ain't looking at a flyer on the wall at the barbershop. They have their faces in their phones, so they ain't gonna see the flyer. Radio is still a thing, but advertising events on the radio isn't as effective as it once was. Content and ads have to be a part of the promotion strategy to get people's attention.
Yeah. I have a lot about that one. I'm trying to keep my notes. Let me say this. I I think you have to know your city. I'll say this, and I was hired by both promoters, and when I go to that city, I work for them every show. I'm just give you two examples. There was one show in Richmond where we had a packed house. It was only
Mm-hmm.
Maurice Yancey and Doc McKenzie. Over 1,000 people, $20 tickets. That's it. Nothing else. Packed house, same city. Months apart, nothing to do with each other. A different promoter had a concert that had my group, Sons of Faith, Ruby and the Girls, Legends, Blessed by Four, Men of Praise, Doc, Daryl McFadden, and Tim Rogers. Wasn't even 400 people there. So what I'm saying is, are we saying that Maurice and Doc is a bigger card than all them groups I just named you? Or is it the way the promoters attacked having this program?
So, are you aware of the difference in promotion?
Yeah,
Break
meaning like the
it. The knowing about the two.
yeah.
Can you tell us what the difference was in promotion?
So one of them, I think the promoters' names were different. I think there's levels to promoting, right? If you're a group having a show, we know this is we're celebrating the group. But if you don't have a group to underline this, it's based honestly all off the strength of the promoter. And there are some that in certain cities are like the upper echelon, and there are some that we feel like are coming out. We may go, we might not go. But the main difference that I saw, there's one dude, there's one of the shows. He gets out and does street teaming every event. It doesn't fail. He's like 80 something. But he got him a street team that goes to he's at every secular event, he's at every gospel event, he's at every church, he's at every he's texting people stuff. And so like I could just see that he didn't just rely on radio until like the end, like the last 3 weeks he go radio heavy. But for him, is boot, like they say boots on the ground, but he's literally flyers on cars, making sure people know. So he'll go to the comedy club, and if you live in Richmond, there's 8 to 10 huge venues that do concerts nightly. He's at all those events talking about his gospel show. But also, Richmond is an older city, so just marketing to the churches help tremendously. Being there when church is out. And so, like, having a strategy for, okay, who have church at 8, who have church at 9, who have church at 10, who have church at 11, and how can I get my 8 o'clock person to the end of the 10 o'clock service and the 9 o'clock person, and like, how can I move all these people to literally interact in the parking lot with these people at these churches for the next 6 months?
So there's not enough energy put into promoting.
Correct.
And that's because that's where my post came from, the fact that I've seen it, Jaleel. People will slap a flyer on Facebook and call that the promotion of the concert.
Yeah.
Or take a little flyer about this big and slap it in a salon and be like, we promote it.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, ain't nobody gonna see that.
Yeah.
But now if you take a street team going out to every event and passing out flyers and talking to people at the church, that's why I was intrigued with your comment, because I'm like, yeah, the street team thing. But again, to your point, every time I've ever heard of street teams, it's only ever been in hip hop.
Oh yeah. No, they do it in Richmond and gospel. Reggie just said the Virginia Airs pack out every anniversary, but again, their promotions start way in advance. I think that's the first time I might even seen Yancey and them was at one of the Virginia Airs anniversary with Lee Williams, Dot McKenzie, Tasha Cobb, Shirley Caesar. I was like, yo, this lineup is crazy. It was only like $30, and so you could just see, like, I felt the energy in Northern Virginia for what they was putting down in Virginia Beach.
Wow.
I was like, yo, if I feel this here and it's 2.5, 3 hours away, I was like, yo, I might have to sacrifice that trip to get down where they are, because this is the thing that seems to be the talk of this particular region.
Yeah, that's good, bro.
And so, I mean, like I said, I think the energy to the concert, it costs to have a street team, right? Because it's one thing to hire somebody to make a flyer and then I post it online, that's free. I posted my page. It's different when you need to hire people from your street team and hire somebody to get these flyers. So, it may cost you, $300-400 for 10,000 4x6 club flyers. More money, that needs to be added to the overall budget. So then, but by the time this happens, you've already decided what your expenses are. We rushed to get the flyer out, but we really ain't sit down and do an expense report. So we didn't understand how to leverage my overall budget is 18,000. So my ticket price with a venue that's got 750 seats needs to be here, but how do I break down each ticket? And those are some of the things on the secular side I got to experience. Torben Jones like, okay, so this is how y'all breaking the ticket. The only part of this ticket that's going to the artist is 20%. When Quartet, we giving the artist 80% of everything from the door. That ain't how this works. But again, we just perish for a lack of knowledge, right? So I think some of it is learning and some of it is just being humble enough to ask. Like, hey, can you help me put together an Excel sheet or a budget for my album? Can you help me put a budget together for my upcoming concert? Can you help me put a budget for my CD release? Help can be free. And if you know how to use ChatGPT and prompt, you can ask them to do it for you too, and they'll give you at least a rough start.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, literally just asking people, And I think sometimes we're just afraid to ask for help. And I'll be the first one to say, when it was time for me to drive with Mari Jancy, Reggie was always in the front seat. And I'd be like, bro, how do we get better attire on stage? Like, how do y'all come up with a look for clothes? Like, I didn't have the answers and I wasn't out front, but I was intrigued at the consistency them boys had when they hit the floor every week. And so it was sort of like, yo, this is what I do, and these are some of the other groups I help. Yo, I had no idea you was helping other people. So I'm just saying, like, sometimes when we don't ask, the answer is really on the other side of our ask.
So in your experience, because I want to help groups get to the place where they have the courage to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So in your experience, and y'all in the comments tell me too, if y'all know, what keeps artists from asking for help?
Mm.
What do you think it is that keeps artists like hesitating? So Jaleel, you let me know, and I'm gonna look in the comments.
I was waiting for the comments to say something. I don't have a problem with asking. Like, everything that I've learned, I've asked somebody for. And so it's
James Pringle said pride. Okay.
Yeah.
Uncle Tyrone said trust. My wife said pride. Fear. This is good. And it's like y'all keep commenting because I want to understand the pride part. I want to understand what the pride is. Okay. Many artists are just artists. They don't have business acumen, don't know where to get started, and don't want to look stupid. So they stay quiet. My wife said afraid of no. So in other words, I don't know what to do, but I'll just do what's safe, even if it's not progressive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just keep barely making the little bit of money because I know it'll at least be a little bit of money. Also, I think we have, Jaleel, in my experience, just talking to different people from different walks of life, whether they be musician, producer, artist. It's like, I think I've experienced in conversations, and I've experienced this even within myself as well, with limiting beliefs.
Okay.
So, certain conversations I'll never be willing to have because they go beyond my belief of what's possible in the first place.
Okay.
So like I've been in conversations with my little brother where he'll check me, like I'll be telling him something that I think is fire, and he'll be like, "What?" I'm like, "What you talking about? This fire." Right. That bar kind of low, my brother. What? Right. And I'm thinking, I'm in my head and in my heart, what I'm saying to him is maxed out, Jaleel. Mm-hmm. So if I be honest, growing up in Quartet and being around Quartet all of my life, even my aspirations have been limited. It's like I have a lot of limiting beliefs, and even my ceiling in my desires and my thinking and my ideas is kind of like low.
Gotcha.
And it's like I didn't realize that till I was talking to my brother, and he was like, and at first, Jaleel, I was offended. I was talking about, well, what you talking about? This fire. He like, bro, how you? And I'm like, well, I guess you're right. So then when I'm in conversations with other people, they respond to me the same way I responded to my brother. And I said that to say, even if we were to have a conversation with certain groups, I don't know if they see past going up the street, bro.
That's why I think mentorship is so important. I think mentorship and having somebody that truly gets it, that can take you to some. You may not be gigging, but can I at least go with y'all? Can I go with you to a Spirit Fest, or can I go with you to a Waves of Praise, or can I go with you to a WIDU to even see what bigger rooms look like? So some of us wouldn't even make it on bigger stages, let alone perform well. We just wouldn't know how to act in the room because there's a lot of pressure that's happening at one time. And so that's why I'm glad that I was able to shadow and understudy for years prior to traveling with Genuine, because it just sort of prepared me to know, okay, this is what you're looking for on the road. Okay, this happens. Okay, you got to be always 5 steps ahead of everything. So I think sometimes we don't even make the right connections just to shadow, just to see what it's like, whether it be a manager to a manager, or a musician to a musician, or hey y'all, I ain't looking to get nothing, but y'all mind if I go this weekend? Now you become actually an asset because you might can drive.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that this may work. You know what I'm saying? Where really I just want to be a part. But I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be consistent, and at least learning. Like me and Thomas talk all the time, which from the Virginia Airs Alexander. So that's went from talking to business relationships to questions about the music industry, where I feel like I should be asking him, and he'd be like, "No, I want to know. I want to hear your brain. Like I want to pick your brain." So it just not being afraid to ask. Like literally, people are waiting for your answers both ways. Like to hear what you got to say, but to also just bounce ideas. And once you get those relationships, he's brought me to his city for different things for his church. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I think if we could just put the pride to the side, and just really share with people we trust, because I saw trust was one of those things on the list. Like finding people that we know have our best interests at heart. But trust only makes a difference when you don't know the industry. They're books for free. If you know the industry, they can't get over on you. But a lot of us won't sit down and read for a little bit.
And
Just to get comfortable to know that you can't pull one over on me because I know this.
yeah, and that's kind of where my mind has been. It's kind of like when you look at the landscape, it's like, is there a hunger to do more than what's been done?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you have enough experience to know that the answer is yes for some, and the answer is no for others. The answer is, I don't know, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If I just knew what it may look like, then I might be able to. So hold on. Let's go to some of the comments. So Tyrone says, I think it's more trust. If you break it down, so many have been taken advantage of. The better you are in the past, the more you protect yourself because many work to see you not excel. It's weird, but true to some degree. So let's break that down. If you break it down, so many have been taken advantage of. At the end of the day, the biggest thing about any artist being taken advantage of most of the time is labels. Most of the time when you get screwed, it's by labels. But the thing is, it's like, the more I learn, the more I study, the more I talk to people like yourself and other people, I'm like, man, we don't be having the leverage to go into any situation that is in our favor. We don't be having the numbers. We don't be having the infrastructure. We don't be having the knowledge. So it's like, at some point, it's like, I don't know what it'll take for artists to trust, but it's like you know the results of what you doing now.
Right.
And here's my plea, Jaleel. Here's where I get frustrated and agitated and start like fighting for people. The problem with that comfort that bothers me is when artists get mad at people who don't want to stay there with them. Like, if you're cool with where you are, don't bash musicians who ain't gonna keep playing for you. Cause they see we in a rat race. They see we on a hamster wheel. And if young musicians and singers with goals, dreams, ambitions, and families, once they realize, oh, okay, this it right here, they gonna quit. They gonna quit. So my thing is, like my Uncle Tyrone said, okay, yeah, you may have trust issues, you may be taking advantage, you may have gotten taken advantage of in the past. But you also know where you at right now. And when you tell the truth, you know the real behind the scenes. So like at some point you gotta say, yo, what's up? What's next? What can we do? I'm gonna start this platform, this conversation. People who didn't know Jaleel Brown, call them, inbox them, text them, something. Like, you got to get to a place where you like, if it's only one person, Jaleel, I'm gonna go a step further. It's a lot of people like you and I that's in groups right now, and the lead singer just treat him like he's just a musician. No, he really the key to the key to unlocking the door for real.
I mean, I was there too, though. So I mean, I wasn't the manager always. I was just a drummer.
Yeah,
And then it just got to a point. It was like, yo, we got to figure out something else. Like my lead singer said, yo, I think it need to be Jalil. When the other guys in the group say, yo, I agree. And then ever since then, we just kind of went to a different space. Not to say it was all because of me, but on the back end, I was willing to be the one to go to these conferences. You know, at the time, I didn't have no responsibilities. I wasn't married, I had no kids. Like, I could go. So I was flying to Nashville. I was going to Lynchburg. I was going to DC. I was signing up for course after course after course. You know, so things have changed. But just to know, like, I was willing to go learn it. So then I knew everything that we did after this had to make sense.
yeah.
You know, so I think all the reasons that I've said are definitely valid. But again, the artist, if you want to see a change, you got to be willing to do something different. So whether that's a team or a deal, what the deals are so different now. You know, everything isn't the same. And you just have, like I said, identifying where you want to be, how to get there, and what resources and tools are needed to help your artistry advance. Then I think building your team makes sense according to that. But
Absolutely.
you still got to have a budget at the end of the day, regardless, no matter who you are. Like, you got to have some sort of funds to help make this ship roll to wherever you want to get it to that destination, and then have the funds to sustain that level. Because once you get there, you just can't stop. Like, it still requires you putting in work. And I think what's crazy to me is, like, as many of y'all as on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and TikTok, man, and y'all not using the analytics on these pages are crazy to me. There's whole professional mode. So I argue with groups. They be like, we sent you a friend request. I don't answer friend requests from group pages. You can ask Lachelle, you can ask anybody. I said, because there's artist pages for that. So if you send me an artist to like your page, I absolutely like it. But I'm not accepting your friend request because that's not what it's made for. And the algorithms are not the same. So yes, you will get more views if you send me a friend request, but you can't tell me the analytics if I say I can get you a sponsorship, but I need you to have 5,000 people that are the ages of 18 to 35 in 2 cities. You can't find it on your personal page. And so it's little stuff that is available. We can talk sponsorship, we could talk partnership, we could talk festival, we can talk churches. I did it for my boys in 757. We went to a church. I said, man, we got a great following in New York, and we got 3 shows. Can we come hang out with y'all church Sunday morning? Absolutely. Fed us, took care of us, gave us the offer. You know what I'm saying? Like they did this stuff, but I was able to plead my case based off the numbers on our artist page. And so I think sometimes we don't even realize all the funds that are available on our artist page, like subscriptions, Patreons. There are so many ways for people to make funds on a consistent basis that requires content, and all of it doesn't have to be polished. Sometimes people just want the real raw behind the scenes, like, this is the day in the life of the drummer of said group. This is a day in the life of the bass player of said group. Like, it's just what you're willing to share. But now you're like, I know them. So that's how people like the Beehives and the one you seen the Lotto video, I think that's how you say her name, about how she feels about the music industry. But what she had to start because the algorithms are off. And so like when we kind of understand that it's in our hands, we really got to start moving differently. And that it's going to take time, it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to take a strategy, but it's very doable. Very doable.
I agree, man. And the key to it though is, number one, knowing that you need somebody on the team that understands today's landscape. That's number one. You can't afford a whole team, but you need to start with one person,
right,
that know the landscape. And two, it's like okay, let me take a deep breath. You have Quartet, the genre and the sound, and then you have Quartet, the mentality. And what is starting to happen is the mentality is getting in the way of magnifying the genre, the sound. It's like people all over the world love the sound, but the mentality is holding artists back from getting in the places and spaces of people that love the sound. So it's like at some point you got to be brave enough to say, it's not disrespectful for me to embrace this genre while reprogramming my brain. I'm a what they say, I'm a eat the meat and spit out the bones. The sound of it, the history, the rich history, all of that I'm gonna keep. The soul, all of that I'm gonna keep. But the way of thinking, if I want to grow, I got to shed it. And to some people who not ready to shed it, it's gonna be problematic. Because if you ain't no chirper on the slab, willing to do whatever it take to bust a house, some people don't think you Quartet.
Right.
If you ain't down for the struggle, some people think you ain't authentic. But I'm like, y'all, we don't have to be struggling.
Correct.
To be same thing with hip hop. It's like, y'all, we don't got to be drug dealers. We don't have to be shoot 'em up, bang bang to be authentic hip hop artists. It's like at some point, crime cannot be the only storyline of hip hop. It just can't. It's destructive. Same thing with Quartet. It's like, hey, bro, I'm gonna push the sound, but I gotta change my mind. Because if I don't change my mind, I'm not gonna be interested in the stuff Jaleel talking about. Because he ain't talking about hitting the road and busting the house. You ain't saying nothing about none of them. It's like, hey man, know your demographics, understand cities, partnerships, work with credible promoters, find other venues other than churches, make sure your merch right, make sure you know why you doing what you doing. Don't be in the same 10 to 20 mile radius 3 weeks in a row. Bruh, everything that it takes to grow is the opposite of what we've been doing for 10 years, bro.
Right, right,
It's like, and so at some point we just got to be like, all right, y'all, let's change the game, bro. Hold on, let's see what some of these comments say. So my wife, she's saying what I'm saying. Didn't you know? I wish the quartet world would shift their minds and take heed of what's being said. If so, so much would change for the better. Absolutely. My uncle said, I left an artist at his height and at the top of the industry, but it was only because I knew that ceiling wasn't high enough for me. Yeah. Or what I saw for myself. Yeah, he definitely quit. People thought he was crazy too. He quit. Jaleel, I'm talking about Jaleel. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
But boy, they was smoking hot when he quit. I'm talking about they was smoking hot when he quit. At the top, at the tippy top, the hottest group of the genre, they was piping hot, and he was just like, "Hey man, if this it,
yeah."
And he made a sacrifice where it wasn't like he quit and just start gigging with somebody else. It didn't happen like that. He was kind of like at church doing fill-ins. He met some industry musicians and was doing one-offs and boom, 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 boom. And he kind of like scrapped and scraped. And now it's looking a little different for him, boy. So it's like that fear, that pride. Because here's the thing. Some people said pride. Some people said fear. Some people said trust. But it's all they cousins.
Right.
They cousins. It's like it's even when you put them three things together, it's all really the same.
Yeah.
It's like, bruh, you don't believe in yourself enough to break past your experiences and do something you never seen before. And you used to be such a killer that you don't even want to taint the reputation of what you used to be. So you'd rather not try anything new. Because you just rather the glory days be people's memories. But I'm like, man, you got people's lives you got people wanting to ride with you and sacrifice and put gas in their cars and miss church services, and you don't want nothing else.
Right.
Like, bro, people ain't gonna keep going for that. They just not. Make sure I ain't missing nobody. Bro, anything else you got for us, man?
I'll end with this, man. One, thank you again for having me. But I'll say this that I learned from Mr. Kevin James. I'm not sure if you know him, but he's a big player in the industry.
Let's go.
He said something, and he said it once, and I just never forgot it. On the Let's Talk Gospel calls that Miss Gwen and Lachelle and those will have back in the day. And he said, the method to winning in this game is KLT, know, like, and trust. He said they got to know you. They got to like what you put out and trust that you'll consistently put out stuff they like. And if you can understand that method in your artistry career, and then you can figure out how much money it would take you to get every fan, super fan, to support into that per year. Those are funds that don't have nothing to do with ticket prices. So if you know you got, let's say, 10,000 fans on your page, but you got 2,500 super fans, what can you do to get them to invest $50 a year? 2,500 people invest $50 a year that are super fans to your group. Figure out what that looks like and how to get that done through the know, like, and trust method. Once you get that, it's up from there.
I wanted to do the math. That's $125,000 a year.
From 1/4 of your fans.
Know, like, and trust. They got to know you. And it's like, I said that on my post. It's like, Jaleel, as much as we love these groups, man, in the grand scheme of the world, don't nobody know them. Don't nobody know us.
Right.
It's 13 people on here.
Right.
Although I'm grateful for every single one of the 13 people, that's nobody compared to the world.
Right. 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 Right.
So like y'all, we have to like so to your point of no like and trust, it's like what do we have to do for people to know us? And Jaleel, it's not just dropping a single and then posting available now graphic. They ain't finna know you from doing that.
One of my artists is recording. They're doing a live in November, so they're in the studio. So I called him. I said, "Where the pictures at?" Then y'all go to the studio the other night. He was like, I only got a video." I said, "A video of what? We don't want the video. We need the prep. The prep." And I said, "This is where artists fail to learn, right? In the quartet, my choir, traditional, whatever, they'll say we're gonna call the publicist when the project done. Publicists get so mad. They was like, "Yo, no, you need to call us when you decided to record, so we can let people know that you got something anticipating is on the horizon, but we'll frame it right to just tell the story of why we're doing it."
It's
And then
called a
as we get
rollout.
closer, yo, I said, "Come on, y'all." Okay, so I told him, I said, "Hey, just from now on, when you go, just take pictures, invite people into the space, so then when it's time to say it's available, they're excited for the hard work you did." I said, "But we do it the reverse way sometimes, and when we get it done, we say, look, we done spent $20,000, we done got this, now just go download it. But we ain't really registered all the metadata, so we ain't tracking to see if we're on radio reports. We ain't seen if we're on iTunes. We ain't seeing if we got added to Pandora, which is a whole other process. Like, it's just steps to this. And sometimes I think we rush to see the end goal and miss steps 1 through 7, and we just enjoy what comes with 8 through 10 because our notifications go up."
Yeah, and we're missing that opportunity, and for whatever reason, things have to change.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of a good example of what you're saying. Like I'm trying to think of an artist who I've seen document the process. I've never really seen. Dang, I don't got no example, Jaleel, and that's not good. That shows how important it is. It's like in today's time, y'all, when you got Mariah Carey, when you got Lotto and Ice Spice,
Mhm.
when you got all these people pulling up to Kai's stream,
Yeah.
you got to be like, okay, guys, just dropping a song is not the wave. Like, how Kai as a streamer get to the point where he the main source of promotion?
Yeah.
Wait. So, and then and this how my brain worked. I'm like, if Kai is the main source of promotion, as an artist, I want to go a step further, where we see like Lotto and them going to Kai's stream.
Mhm.
If I was an artist, I'm like, how can I be Kai as an artist?
Correct.
I don't want to be the artist that goes to Kai's platform. I want to go a level deeper and understand what Kai doing. Hold on. If Quartet for Kids was a group.
Listen, my son
Hold on.
every day. So
If Quartet and for Kids was a group, I would show y'all something. First of all, let's please, because I need to clip this up later. The crazy thing, Reggie, is right before our eyes, you have given us a blueprint that nobody has tried to duplicate. Here's the I thought we was finna get off, Jaleel. First of all, in 2025, Jaleel, you may disagree, so if you do, just let me know. We not dropping enough music.
I'd agree.
It's like 10 songs. First of all, here's the thing. With the way social media works, it's smarter to split the 10 songs up over the year than to drop it at one time and don't nobody even know it's coming, and then you post it for 2 weeks and that's it. You don't wasted a golden opportunity. Instead of that, let's say you got a 12-song album. You need to put out one. Oh, I'm giving out the gems. You need to put out one song a month with promotion and content around it. Come up with a 30-day strategy for one song. Yo, Reggie dropping every week, which means it is possible. It is possible. Reggie got a production team with musicians, mix engineers, got daggone cartoonists.
Right.
He whooping us. He whooping us. Yo, Reggie, Quartet for Kids. By now, see, Reggie, if I was a lead singer, bruh, I'd be like, yo, let's do what Reggie doing. Let's get our team together. Let's make sure it's a team that believe in the vision. Let's drop a song every week. Let's collab with people. I would literally copy Quartet for Kids. Let's make sure we got videos, drop it on YouTube. People can go stream it as soon as it drop. Yep. It's like, bruh, bing, bing, bing. So then it's like Jaleel, we get frustrated over here in our community, but it's like y'all ain't feeding the people, man.
But take it a step further. If let's say we don't have because I feel like just knowing Reggie, his mind run all the time. He just eat, breathe, and sleep music and backgrounds and harmonies, and everybody don't have that, right? Let's just say we don't have that skill set. But if you got 12 songs, you can't make 2 6-song EPs, which qualify for the Stellars. But if you really want to get to the Grammy and the Doves, those go by 3 to 5 year gaps. Not you don't got to do all at once. So while we're waiting for one, we can already be ahead of the game, dropping 2 in the Stellar cycle for 364 days.
That's good. We dropping gems.
You're working backwards.
Break it up.
So sometimes I feel like when we see, how did they get to the such and such, or how did they release strategically to know what award platforms they wanted to qualify for that would position their name to be on a ballot with artists of a different caliber. And that's where we miss sometimes because we just know one thing.
And then it's like here's the thing, to piggyback off what you're saying. The thing that bothers me is how upset we get in the Quartet community when our music is not acknowledged on those ballots. I'm like, y'all not doing what y'all supposed to be doing, man. It's on us. We ain't. It's like you not no SAGMA member,
or you wait till it's time to nominate to join. You done missed all the meetings. You done missed all the regional dinners, lunches, and conference calls and member benefit. We ain't got it, none of that until they said my artist can submit. We working.
Bro, it's like it's too late. It's like you ain't been strategic. Hold on. Oh, this is good. I need to read this. The world loves the music. 70% of my fans ain't Quartet. Let me put it back. The world loves the music. 70% of my fans ain't Quartet. I can't say that enough, y'all. There is a whole lot of people out here. If they just knew groups existed, it would be a wrap. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you what really, really solidified it for me. When I saw the Hamiltones go viral over and over and over, I said, the sound is not the problem, and the art form is not the problem. Because we love to kind of be like, man, Quartet is a genre, it's a niche genre, man. Everybody ain't gonna get with it. It's like more people like it than you think.
Yeah. Facts.
They just only know about the clouds.
Right.
You ask
somebody playing the Cantons on everybody's radio station Sunday morning.
Memphis 1, Memphis 2 is what's getting. It's like at some point there was a disconnect between Quartet and the rest of the world, and it's like you could say, Jaleel, we hear this all the time, which it's probably true, and it could be partially true. You let me know if you know. I hear a lot of people say, well, radio used to be popular, but then Quartet used to be popular in radio, and then Quartet got blackballed. So then now Quartet's radio don't play Quartet music. And I'm kind of like, okay, I feel that. I feel you. But then I'm like, at the same time, it goes back to that word you've been saying a couple times, budget. It's like, are you blackballed, or do you not have a budget to get a song played?
Right. Yep. I think it's budget, which goes back to strategy, because we thought this was an amazing song, but it wasn't amazing enough because we didn't have a big enough brand to take Kurt Franklin out of that spot, or Tasha Cobbs, or J.J. Harrison. Like, the song can be amazing. We still don't have the fan power to make a listener not turn their radio station when they play a Quartet song. And so I do agree Quartet probably has some struggles when it comes to like getting equal play. But think about it from the radio perspective. Their money comes from people that buy radio ads. So the only way it works for me is if the listeners stay on my station, because the sponsors are feeding those funds to my station. So I can't take a risk at just playing a Quartet song just because you thought you have a great song.
Yes.
Because now I have to remove somebody from those top 10, top 15, top 20 spots.
Yes.
And I don't think that works. Reggie mentioned Group Fire.
I was just about to put it up.
Yeah, they're one of my graphic design clients. And to see the work that they put in on a consistent basis, I think the thing that makes them special, like, and this is not saying just because I work with them, but they like this all the time. The energy y'all see on stage, they get us in church every week, Wednesday and Sunday. So that's not just hey, we're just gonna do this on Sundays, but them dudes are different. And I've been telling people for years, I say, yo, Group Fire is the best up and coming Quartet group.
And here's the thing, Jaleel. I say here, okay, I'm about to be honest, okay, bro. I say it all the time about the Group Fire, but here's the thing. Here's the bomb I'm about to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're doing what it takes to grow beyond the Quartet bubble, Quartetters say it ain't Quartet.
Yeah. But they know how to play the game. And I think that's where that A&R piece that groups back in the day used to have, where those record labels would spend months developing artists before they came out. They do that. And I feel like they know when to do Quartet and they know when to do that other thing. You know,
and here's
they know how to turn it on.
Yes, and here's the thing about it, y'all. There's no genre in 2025 let me make sure I'm saying it right. Yes, there's no mainstream genre in 2025 that has not evolved sonically and with production. And like, for instance, there are some purist country artists that be like, this new music ain't country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yes, it is. It may have a couple trap drums in it, but the foundation is country. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, the Group Fire ain't Quartet. I'm like, all right, here's what I have to say to that. If the Group Fire ain't Quartet, every group of the last 5 years ain't Quartet. If it ain't Dixie Hummingbirds with one guitar player and a bass singer around them, I'm like, y'all can't be saying what ain't. It's like, if you go back far enough, Jaleel, you could argue that about any era of music, because every time it evolves, it's going to get, the sound is going to get further and further away from the origin, but it's the feel. As long as the feel and the foundation is there, it's Quartet. But you can't be like, man, that ain't Quartet.
Right.
That means Lee Williams. If you go back far enough, you could argue that Lee Williams ain't Quartet. If you go back far enough
Mm-hmm.
to the origins of quartet music, just like some people like I've heard artists like say like, hey man, 90s R&B, that's real R&B. But it's like, if you go back to Otis Redding, Tank ain't real R&B. Chris Brown definitely ain't R&B. But you don't hear people saying, like, you feel what I'm saying? It's like we have to get to the place where we embrace the natural evolution that comes with time and technology and new minds and creativity. And it's like we gotta stop being like, if it ain't from 1980, it ain't Quartet.
Yeah.
Bruh. If my son start a group in 20 years, it's not gonna sound like the Volunteers, bruh.
And it shouldn't. As it shouldn't. It should evolve like everything else is going to evolve. And we get stuck behind it so many times because we just be stubborn to change. But 100%, it should evolve. It should change. I agree with you. But if you're looking for a blueprint, I think they're a great group to look after, to move differently, to get in different markets, to be on different and they're putting out content all the time. So whether it's just singing a quick video produced or making a music video in a fancy, performing arts center, like they give you all of that. And I think those are the things that kind of set them apart. So where you may not see them run on a show with Doc and the Cantons, they headlining their own shows and making what they want. So I just think if we just do a little research, look online, and be willing to shift our thought process, I think we could definitely see this thing make a shift.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you so much, man.
No, I appreciate you, man.
Um, it's been real, y'all. We out. Peace.